do as much research as you can, and sometimes you can be the person that's kind of blocking your own opportunities. So try to get out of your head. If you see like 5 or 6, 7 testimonials of someone doing something, 9 times out of 10 it's true, and you just got to take that leap, or just don't make yourself be the person that doesn't get the job. I know there's a lot of factors, and the market is not in the best position that it is right now, but like if I'm able to break into tech and I have no experience in the market that we're in today, I feel like, again, why can't you do the same thing? So yeah, that's really all it is. I don't want to sound like a motivational speaker or anything, but yeah.
Hey everybody, today's interview is going to be really interesting. I'm actually interviewing another YouTuber who's like quite large. He has like a pretty big audience. His name is Joel, aka Lord Hec, and his channel is like in the dance niche, and he also has a gaming channel as well. But he actually went through the CourseCareer's IT course and did a really good job on it, executed everything really well, did his job hunt, and he ended up landing a nice job in IT, and he's going to kind of talk about his experience. So it should give a nice perspective from like another YouTuber. It's like really interesting, who just ended up breaking into IT in like a normal IT job. So yeah, check it out. Definitely interesting. Hey everybody, Josh Madakor here. I'm a IT and cybersecurity YouTuber and CourseCareer's instructor. And then we have Joel with us. He went through the CourseCareer's IT course and ended up getting a job in IT. And he agreed to come on and kind of talk to us a bit about that process. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you, Josh Madakor. You're a living legend over here changing lives.
Well, I appreciate that. So do you want to, I guess I told your name already, but do you want to do like a brief introduction for yourself and then talk about what you were doing before you decided to get into IT?
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I can do that. So basically, my name is Joel Joseph. I'm originally from New York. I'm 26 years old, and I am a professional dancer / content creator. So everyone kind of knows me as a YouTuber, TikToker. I have 2 channels that I manage currently in the back end. I have one with 700,000 subscribers, and I have another that just hit 100,000 subscribers. So I've been doing that full time for a while, but a lot of the things that people don't talk about is how much the revenue can fluctuate when you're depending on ad revenue. And it comes a point in time where I was just like, I want to build some kind of stability and use my YouTube income as a source of supplemental income, instead of relying solely on it. So that's what made me pivot to CourseCareer, as I was looking for an opportunity to utilize my tech skills, because I've always had like unprofessional experience in that realm, and I wanted to leverage those abilities because I'm a big gamer. So a lot of the skills that I've acquired comes from being a PC gamer and just being around. So I figured, why not utilize it in some way and build some professional career experience from it. And here I am today.
Damn, that's very cool. Where can people find you? Can you tell us like your ats and like how to find you on TikTok and YouTube and stuff?
So
if you want, you don't have to do that.
No. I it's fine because people already know, like on the other channel, that I do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first channel is Lord Hec, LORDHEC, and the other channel is just Lord Hec Squad. So that's like gaming content, sit down talks, talking head videos, anything that really comes to my mind, YouTube tips, all that stuff.
Cool. And you meant, this is like going off topic a bit, but you were talking about how you wanted to do like a more stable income, and you have like a quite a large audience, like 700K, you said.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Getting audience is like kind of hard to do, but when you have the audience, you can always like think of ways to strategies to monetize it, because like you normally it's not good to, as you know, it's not really good to rely on AdSense. AdSense is like 5% of my revenue, and you have those audience already. So, just like watch Alex Hormozy or something. We can talk like afterwards or something. I didn't know you're that big creator. That's like really.
Oh yeah, I'd be
dope,
super
actually.
down.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Can I ask, like, what made you get the CourseCareer's IT course out of other stuff? Like, did you vet it and decide it was legit, or like, what was your thought process around that?
Yeah, I did a super vetting process. I even made a whole video about it on my other channel where I was like, I thought CourseCareers was a scam. I thought it was a scam. I thought it was full of You know what I mean? I thought it was cat, but I ended up getting like 2 job offers off of it. Like I'm very like transparent on my channel, and that's why people kind of gravitate to me. And it's not something that's forced; it's just how I am. Because I know a lot of people feel the same way about course careers or just courses in general. Anytime someone feel like they're being sold to, or anything of that matter, they're like automatic like defense wall is up. But I was kind of split in between like boot camps, WGU, careerists, and course careers because I didn't know ultimately what I wanted to do. A lot of people say I have the personality for tech sales, but I'm like, I don't want to do the whole quota thing and just people riding my back for that. It's just not my spiel. And I did front end web development a few times, and I couldn't like. Once we get to like CSS and Flexbox and that whole thing, I was like, no way I'm doing this. I'm not doing this. So I did like 3 good attempts at web development, and it was like 3-4 months at a time, and then I just couldn't stick with it. And I was just like, you know what? Let me try something else. And then IT was just like it kind of spoke to me in a sense because I'm usually helping people with like, oh, my graphics card needs updating. Oh, my computer is not working. I'm getting the blue screen of death. Things of that nature. You know, just something that's more tangible and not too abstract. So it's like I can verify what I'm doing and why it's not working instead of it being super like based on my imagination. I need something that could be like, okay, I know this works because I verified this step, and it makes sense. You know. So that's what took me to go into the IT aspect of it. And yeah, I saw that there was a lot of testimonials as well. So if I had another choice, it would definitely be like tech sales. I wanted to do UI UX, but I don't know too much about that field. But so I definitely would attribute it to the amount of testimonials that occurred that they had on YouTube for IT.
Oh, that's good to hear. And I wouldn't even consider like your whole thing with the front end web thing a waste because you kind of like have at least some of those skills now and you kind of know about it a bit. So it might come in handy in the future, like when you're like doing your own business type stuff and you're making a landing page or something. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it definitely helped a lot with Git because I saw some of the HTML that was used in there as well. So it was, oh, I know this. So that helped a lot when it came down to that portion.
Yeah. Like the more stuff you do, you'll notice like come up later and it will be like useful. It's like really interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah. But in terms of the most helpful part of the course when it comes to getting an interview and passing the interview, what stood out to you or like what helped you the most for those listening?
I would say the most valuable part for me, as I emphasized in some of my previous videos, is the projects and the I would say the projects, the interview prep, and the resume and cover letters that we create towards the end of the program. I feel like those are really, really valuable because the projects is the things that will give you experience for someone that hasn't had experience before, like myself in the IT field. Like that's since you don't have working experience, the projects is what the recruiters are looking for in exchange for working experience. And I spent a great deal of time understanding the projects, doing it like 5 to 6 times so I can understand it like the back of my hand. So when it comes time to do the interview, I'm not like, unsure of what it is that they're asking me about.
That's very key. I really advocate like doing stuff over and over and over again because it really gives you good intuition and it's easy to talk about, right? The more you do it.
Exactly.
Cool. And was the internship thing with my company a part of the course when you went through it, or I didn't add that yet at the time?
Oh yeah, the internship was part of it. I didn't do it as much myself, but I kind of just went straight to LinkedIn and Indeed.
Good job. Can I ask about like the whole timeline? Like how long did it take you to get through the course, and then like kind of how long did it take you to get hired after that?
Okay, so mine is a bit of an extreme example, so I can give you like a timeline. So since I was a full-time content creator, I had a lot of time. It would take like an hour or two to do content. So I would spend like 4 or 5 hours a day, five days a week, kind of just like cramming in the course. And once I completed it the first time, it took me like 2 weeks to complete it. and do the test
Damn.
and things of that nature. I was like cramming it. And this was things that I already knew in the back of my head already because unprofessional experience. So a lot of the concept wasn't super new. Subnetting though, everyone know that's like torture. We're not
Yeah.
gonna talk about
Yeah.
that. But it took me about 2 weeks to complete the course, and then I went over it a third time just for like project reasons and just really understanding each individual projects. And then once I did the third week, it took me about like 2 weeks to get a job. So I would say a month and a half to kind of complete the course, and then
Damn.
like to get a job or offer. Yeah, it was really like I was kind of going in.
Good job. That's quite fast considering it's like a new career, I would say.
Thank you.
And then how many interviews did you ultimately have to do?
I had two interviews. I had two
Is that
interviews that I had to do. I ended up getting a job offer from both of them. The first one was not a remote opportunity, which is why I didn't take it because I knew in the back of my mind that I wanted to move out of New York because the cost of living is kind of insane over there. And that was really the only thing that made me choose the other company that I wanted to work for, which is what I work at now.
Gotcha. Yeah, I talk to my coworkers and I'm like, if you have like full autonomy of like, your location, like you can control like where you are, that's worth like a lot of money, like more than people think it's worth. Like I'd rather get like 50K and be fully remote versus like 200K and then have to go to the office every time. And people are like, that's crazy,
Yeah.
but it's your life. It's, I don't know. There's just like something about like having control of where you are, like really like is good for your mental health. So I can understand like why you would get the remote job.
Yeah, it's
But
definitely the same reasons that you mentioned.
yeah. So are you allowed to talk about the salary range that you ended up with? And then if you
Yeah.
had to negotiate for that at all?
Yeah, so the salary that they asked me the question of what would you expect the salary to be, and I was like 55, 60K ish. That's the range I'm looking for. And it was like, "Oh, perfect. We're offering 55 for the role." I was like, "Oh, okay. That's fine. We could do that. That works." So it's like right along the low end of the range. I usually like to give a range because, you don't want to shoot too high and then, they're like, "Whoa, we can get somebody else." So I usually like to give a
Yeah.
range. But it's always good to start high and then bring it down.
Yeah, it's true. And that does happen. There's like, some people are like, no, you can't ask for too much, but it is possible. Like,
Yeah,
you
you
can
can.
ask for too much.
And then
But
and
that's
then
good.
another thing is that I want to mention is like people kind of have unrealistic expectations when it comes to like the salary, especially when they have no experience. They be like, "Oh yeah, let's get 75K off the bat." I'm like, "Okay." It's not impossible, but it's not likely.
Yeah, it's hard. You have to like kind of guess based on like what the job is and like where it is and all of this stuff. And of course, you don't want to like, get something too low that you're not willing
Yeah,
to
like
actually
30K or
work with.
something in New York. That's just not,
Yeah, you can't do anything.
Yeah, you can't really do much with that.
And then, can you talk about like your interview a bit? Like maybe this it might be hard to remember, but generally, like some of the questions that they asked and like that whole process, like how was it?
The interview, it was an interesting process because didn't go the way that it expected. I'm speaking about the job that I have now. So to start off, it was like the interview was very bubbly. She was super bubbly, and they didn't ask me much. It was a talent recruiter, so it wasn't a technical interview at first. So they just asked me personality questions and the infamous "tell me about yourself" question. I reviewed that question like 1,000 times. They asked me questions like, "Oh, tell me about a moment where you had to deal with like a terrible customer and how'd you react, or what was your feedback? Um, what would you, what is your coworkers like way of describing who you are in the workplace? Like things like that. Like a lot of personality questions. That was the first interview, and then literally after I did that interview, they set up the next interview for the next day. So they were looking for somebody like fast, and they wanted someone to fill in the space. So I was like, okay, this is a
Nice.
good opportunity because they're kind of like in need of a person. So the second interview, it was two people. And this was the technical questions. But again, the technical questions weren't like super. What is an IP address? What is subnetting? Like they didn't ask me anything like super technical. So it was more on the side of like, tell me about a complicated issue that you had working in a live environment, and then I would give them examples. I would have examples that I rehearsed on my phone, just to remember and make sure that I'm not rambling on the interviews.
Good
And I
job.
feel like that helped me a lot. And I used some of the interview questions that you had in the course as well, and I kind of jotted it down and I reviewed it right before the interview, so my mind was fresh. But all in all, I kind of knew I was going to get the job because like they always was going into a point where it just turned into like off-topic conversation. And I feel like one of the most important things when you know when you're going to get a job or have a good interview is when they don't focus too much on your hard skills and they focus on who you are. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to be working a customer support. You're going to be dealing with customers no matter what field that you're dealing with, and they're looking for a people's person. So I felt like that's what helped me a lot. And they didn't ask me any like hard questions. I felt like it was a very easy interview.
That's good. That's good. And that makes sense too, because I feel like it's kind of, I won't say easy, but it's like kind of easy to train those technical things, especially for help desk. But it's like it's impossible to train like the soft skill and be like, hey, can you change your personality? Can you be a certain way? That's like hard.
Yeah, that's something you got to do over time.
Yeah, so it's important. So people watching, everyone's like always like super scared of the interviews because of the technical part. But if you like like you did, go through the course and absorb the technical stuff and do it like 5 times or something like this, you'll probably be good. And then just try to be personable and nice and all those things. It's not going to be as bad as you think. I would guess.
Yeah, I felt like I was over prepared for the technical questions. If I'm being honest, I was like, they didn't act like literally. I was like behooved by the fact that they didn't ask me anything like over the top of my head. Like if I hadn't if I hadn't looked at the interview questions on the technical aspect of course careers, I probably would have still aced the interview because like that's how good the conversation went when we were interviewing for the second round.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Cool. Is there anything else that you did that other people might find useful that's like not necessarily part of CourseCareers, but just like in general, something that helped you just for the viewers?
What helped me a lot was getting access to like other testimonials and having them on like a playlist to kind of remind myself where I could be, and also looking at possible trajectories and where I could go as a result of the job that I have now, and what are the possibilities. So it gives you that motivation to keep going and basically know that you're not at a dead end position like others like jobs, or you actually have a career that you can actually move forward in. So I felt like the testimonials, anytime I would feel like I don't know if I'm doing this for no reason or I feel discouraged, I'm like, this guy did it, why can't I? So that's the kind of information that I feel like is highly valued. Just proof that somebody else did it, and it helped me get through the course and finish it as quickly as I did.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's really helpful for people. And I don't know what the proper word is, like cliche, like he did it, why can't I? It's actually like really true. It's really true, and I use this too, and I look up to people a lot, and I emulate them the best I can, and it usually ends up in success. So I think that's like really good advice.
I agree.
So like, do you have any final advice for listeners, just like in general, who might want to like make the career change into IT?
I would say that do as much research as you can, and sometimes you can be the person that's kind of blocking your own opportunities. So try to get out of your head. If you see like 5 or 6, 7 testimonials of someone doing something, 9 times out of 10 it's true, and you just got to take that leap, or just don't make yourself be the person that doesn't get the job. I know there's a lot of factors, and the market is not in the best position that it is right now, but like if I'm able to break into tech and I have no experience in the market that we're in today, I feel like, again, why can't you do the same thing? So, yeah, that's really all it is. I don't want to sound like a motivational speaker or anything, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's my spiel.
Yeah, I think that's helpful. But yeah,
Mhm.
thanks a lot. It was a really good interview. I think it's going to help a lot of people out. So yeah, I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure, actually.
I appreciate that. We'll talk offline, but yeah, we'll talk soon.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.